Hi, it's Joy and today I'm going to be watching Batwoman Season 2, Episode 6, Do Not Resuscitate, which, no thank you, that is not going to be with regards to Ryan and her kryptonite. The ending of the last episode was very stressful and I am very excited to keep watching. A reminder as always that you can find the unedited versions of my reactions up on my Patreon, and today is the perfect day to join because you get charged on the first of the month and you get charged whenever you join. So if you sign up today, then that's as though you just signed up for the first of the month. But anyway, yeah, let's go!
Today we've isolated his white blood cells.
Do you have to use a child? They were adults too.
Our hypothesis is that the new solution
Are they here willingly?
in the same way.
Because he seemed to have no clue what was happening. Oh. That child should not be here! Do not resuscitate.
It was exhausted before we knew its potential, and it can't be synthesized. It's gone, sir.
Oh goodness.
Well, it came from somewhere, right?
Oh God, Mary.
Someone's gonna just hand. Your heart rate is flowing right now.
Yes, you need to look into what's wrong.
I've had it a couple of months.
I know she went to Mary last episode, but she should have gone back to Mary.
Oh, unfortunately, her insurance doesn't cover any blood work.
Of course.
You know what I do, Ryan. I don't need you judging me for it. I'm not judging you.
Maybe you should.
I want you to get out while you can.
Yeah, precisely.
Get out?
At least Ryan knows she's still involved in that kind of lifestyle. I didn't like that she was lied to her about it at the beginning of their reconnection. Stress. Everywhere.
Sophia seems to think so.
I told you, I don't have anything to do with
Sophia is as manipulative as you, if not more.
Not just leave. I tried to leave with one of her precious flowers. I
Oh.
thought I could grow it here, do some good in Gotham Harbor with the worst hangover of my life.
Meaning you didn't remember the how, the where, the with whom.
Yeah, you were with Alice, who did steal it.
Are you ready to hear what I think?
An option this whole time.
No one has an option with Alice.
And I think she let us keep all our memories, except the ones specifically.
Yeah, which, if there's something that can do that, that is very powerful and stressful, and yes.
That means there's a good chance he knows a hell of a lot about the original. What's his name?
Ocean.
Oh my God, of course.
It's a high frequency generator.
Oh, the whole time they were driving, I was waiting for that to happen, and then I let my guard down, and then it happened. Oh my God, so they knew it was Mary. Fuck. Everything.
You don't have to ask her anything. Once this is within range of her cell, it'll install an invisible high-frequency generator.
I think, despite the fact that Angelique is running with the bad crowd, she trusts her more than you.
I just need you to get it close enough to transfer.
I do this. You can't touch her.
Can't protect her forever.
No. But I can protect her from you.
I want them to become friends in the long run. I don't know it coming until Sophie can help the crows prove they're better than this, and oh God. So do they just think that, are they in her clinic? Because
Mary?
very awkward.
I don't know anything about the antidote.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
They said it's somewhere in this underground lab.
Oof.
So where is it?
She doesn't know anything about it either.
Actually, I know literally everything about it. There's nothing left.
Oh God.
I can't kill her, I need her.
That's Jacob trying to kick him away
Why don't you tell me about this?
because she doesn't trust
You
you.
believed me. But I've been practicing underground medicine for 2 years.
Yep.
What do you mean underground medicine?
Here.
I mean, this is my clinic.
Yep. She's been helping people who can't afford medical aid in your messed up system. Yep, that's what I suggested. Get her a job. But it earns significantly less than what she's doing, so she's not going to want
You
to.
said you wanted out.
I don't want out.
Yep. As I feared.
I lied.
It's not a good foundation for a
Good
relationship.
at it. And you got a new life. I didn't.
Well, she's trying to help
I
you
didn't know what it felt
now.
like to be found by something.
Ryan found you again and wants
Now I
this.
do. You don't change.
Oh my God. Oh, she's gonna do it. I mean, at this point, every step of the way, Angelique has lied to her. She lied to her that she was still in the crime life. Then she lied to her about wanting out because she thought that would make Ryan happier.
I'm not saying that as some shady dealer.
But you are a shady dealer. And you've been given a choice to get out. And if anything, the danger here is that it will cost you 5 to 8 years of your life. If not your whole life. And Ryan wants you to not have that.
And now you're alone. See, when I care about someone, I fight for them.
Sophie had a lot to work out last season and now Kate's missing. Julia was a different story. I don't know if she'd reached love yet. Do they know Mary's missing yet?
Unless you were taking selfies at Chernobyl,
Oh.
you wouldn't have readouts like these.
Kryptonite.
Have a good day.
You need to talk to Mary. Ideally, if you could dress up as Batwoman and then go to Mary's clinic, that would be the perfect solution here.
You're gonna need to learn to make more of that serum.
Oh.
Right now.
God.
We told you there is
She can't lose anyone else. Mary does not deserve any more suffering!
I've never really been on your radar.
Mary.
Mary, you deserve the world.
About Coriana.
And
I have an unfortunate moment.
Wait, stop!
but angry.
Okay, there's more antidote.
Where?
Oh
Mary,
God.
no.
There's an island, and if you can get there, you can have all the cure that you want.
Oh God.
It's still in the desert rose, and maybe you framed me to save your own ass.
Don't think I would have done that.
Why?
She remembers kissing you.
You and I had a thing together. From the looks of it, it should have been memorable.
Yep.
I'm gonna need you to go back to the part where you said, according to Alice.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Alice.
Yeah, right. So
Oh, it's a long story, sweetheart. I thought she knew.
when I showed up, she put
Left and promptly called 911 to tell
Oh.
the cops the location of the bitch whose gang killed my mom.
My dad and I are here at my clinic. And
Yep, she would never have her dad here.
Dad doing at the clinic.
I'm fine, Lucas. Just bring me the map. I'm
And she's
not
calling you
around.
Lucas.
Something's wrong. I need to get to her. Wait. Oh!
Whoa.
Oh my God.
No. I just need some space.
Okay.
Mm.
Whoa. Brian. Hey.
This is going terribly.
Oriana was remote, but I was never desperate.
Oh.
Where are you going?
Why don't you ask someone who has emotional attachments?
Says the girl willing to be able to get her sister back.
Yep. Which you say is just to kill her, but I think you're a little more conflicted on that than you think. Good Alice probably would have been far more redeemable or savable if after all the trauma when she was locked up with Mouse and his dad, she was found and given some psychiatric help and returned to her family. Rather than Coriana and this mess.
I wasn't about to give you one more reason to doubt me.
Sorry.
Oh God.
We don't have to.
You're an idiot.
Are they going to get more memory flashbacks? Yeah.
I'm getting complicated.
Yeah.
The faster she gets to the island, the faster I'll need you dead.
Sophie, you're not going to just shoot them. No? Okay. Maybe yes. Does she have a body camera on so she doesn't get it? She can at least take a snap of that. Though I doubt she does. This is not legal crow.
You know how to read enough. That island is growing the only thing on this planet that has a shot at curing me.
Very true.
And that put him. Did you know that this was happening?
Apparently there's a lot I don't know about.
Yeah, did her mum, because her mum might have done.
Oh my God!
Okay. Oh Christ. Is Alice gonna follow them here and grab the painting back? Yes, Mary. Yes, Mary. Oh my God. Mary. Come on. Yes.
But I also can't let you die.
She's a good person.
she's done it all while having a terminal illness. If that's not a hero, what the hell is?
Yeah.
So we're gonna find. We have my dad.
True.
If these people have anything
He loves
to do
his
with Hamilton, I want to
family.
be the first to know about it.
I know you're pissed about the clinic.
I'm shutting it down, Mary.
Why? Why would you do that?
It's illegal.
Yeah, but a lot of people
Yep.
can't afford healthcare in the legal way.
Practicing without a license. And
Mom knew about the clinic. She was proud of me.
She was conducting human experiments.
This is the side of Jacob that
I wouldn't do that.
where his
person who walks through your front door
protectiveness
is an experiment because you are not qualified.
goes too far. Like, even with how he's handling the situation.
What being a dad means to you. Do better when you acted like I didn't exist.
This is the sort of Jacob attitude. Like, to an extent, he does have various points. He has points that if someone were to die there and it would be found out, that would be on Mary's record for forever.
I didn't actually think you would come.
Oh no.
So why are you listening?
I did not have a choice. You did, though.
You've lied at every step of the way.
Snitch. I'm so sorry that you can't drug deal in peace. I'm so sorry I cannot trust you. Oh, don't you dare turn my nose.
You have lied at every step of the way too, Angelique.
How do I know? You should have thought of that before you ratted me out.
Well, have fun going to prison in a few years. I know she's scared of people she works for, but... I mean, he's not dead.
I'll be damned.
Of course, a freaking face tech.
Take that a thought.
I'm scared. Everyone should be scared. So much happened in that episode. Okay, so I'll start with Alice because she is how we ended the show. And I'm really, really invested in this. It's another side to Alice. It's a side that it seems as though she fell in love with Ocean as she was finishing her training on Coriana, like over the course of the trip. And I feel like it was her time on Coriana that is what finished her becoming Alice, if that makes sense. Obviously she was calling herself Alice and she had all the kind of delusions and whatnot from her captivity as a child. But it's really Coriana that properly honed her into the manipulative psychopath that she is today. We've seen how easily Sophia twists things, and I don't trust a word she's said, you know. Part of me is like, she probably doesn't even have Kate, and she just found a necklace that looks very similar to one they had, you know, I don't know. And kind of Sophia and Coriana and the mysteries of all of that is really, I think, where Alice was pushed too far. I hope she can somehow turn it around to be redeemable, but at the end of the day, I think she keeps going too far away from that. And there are things she's done that I think her version of redeemable would have to be being in prison forever. But I think with Ocean you see another side of her, a sort of genuine romantic feeling, genuinely caring about someone in a way that was not benefiting her, that wasn't part of a manipulation, or that wasn't secretly a scheme or someone that she loved but she was using. I mean, maybe she was also kind of using him to get Desert Rose, and that won't be the case, but it seems as though it was almost a love despite herself rather than a love with everything. Now, will it turn out that she turned him in? Maybe. But we had in that flashback a moment where he said, escape with me, which implied that A, they weren't free to leave, and B, that if she decided to do it, that maybe they had, both of them decided to walk away from the life of Coriana and to go off. And even if she didn't feel like she wanted to go home to Gotham because she didn't have a place there anymore, that maybe she did want to choose something other than Alice and the life of crime. And so I'm really intrigued to continue to explore that. And I am enjoying that they're kind of working together now against Sophia. Sophia probably will be like aware of what's happening, but I'm intrigued about where Alice's story is going. I think they've done a good job of giving her a story that matters, that you can really feel, but that works without her sister, which was obviously Kate's still a big part of her story, but kind of that was what really made Alice heavily relevant to the show, and everyone was after Ocean in this episode. So I'm intrigued with where they're going to go next. So then we have Angelique and Ryan. Now, I can understand why Angelique reacted the way she did at the end. I don't, you know, I think that maybe she should stop and look at her own actions and how since she has come back into Ryan's life, she has initially told Ryan she was clean out of, or at least let Ryan believe she was clean out of the criminal lifestyle, not just clean of drugs herself. Then when Ryan found out about the criminal aspect, she was like, okay, yeah, I was lying to you, but my god, why are you judging me for it? And it's like, well, maybe if he'd been open and honest, Ryan would have either A, said, no, that's a line in the sand for me, I am not, that is like a red flag. Because I personally don't think there is anything wrong with having someone being a criminal being a red flag in a relationship, something you cannot be okay with. Now, if you're someone like Ryan and you can see why they're making the decisions they're making, you can see that her life never gave her a chance. And even like she said when it was brought up that she didn't want to leave, that, you know, no one ever picked her, no one ever showed her another way until she came involved in this lifestyle. You can kind of understand why someone would feel like they had no other choices. But then when Ryan kind of was like, oh, I want you to leave, and then she was like, oh, you know, I wish I could, but I don't have a way. And then Ryan was like, well, look, here's another job for you to do. And even then she was like, oh, you know, I lied to you, I do want to be in. Now, if the true reason is, I would like to leave, but I'm scared of the people I work for, which she kind of hinted at the beginning, but she made it seem more like she just didn't want to leave. That, you know, going to higher fashion, like the high society events and selling drugs probably makes more money than working in a bar. But is she willing to give away her life? Now, if she is scared for her life when it comes to the drugs, she should tell Ryan about that, because A, Ryan would be a part of that. The more you're in a relationship with someone in this kind of situation, the more Ryan might be taken out as collateral damage or hurt in some way. So I think Angelique has been keeping secrets every step of the way, and I understand with her past why she's been doing that. They are very much, she's a character that I'm very excited to kind of see develop over the course of the show, I think, hopefully. And I will be, in the long run, rooting for them together. I think as they are right now, they are not compatible in this exact moment. Now, if Angelique were to kind of trust in Ryan and let down those walls and tell her everything about the people she's frightened of, everything about why she doesn't want to leave, but I do think a part of it is she doesn't want to leave because it's glamorous and she makes good money out of it. Ryan, of course, yet again being lied to by Angelique, I can see why in that moment the thing that really pushed her to do it for Sophie, to do what Sophie had asked, was the fact that Ryan had yet again lied. Angelique had yet again lied to her. And I think it's a way of protecting her. Sophie, my god, why am I getting all their names muddled? My brain does not work. Ryan knows that prison sucks. She's lived through it. And 5 to 8 years is a lot longer than what she herself ended up doing. And she doesn't want that for Angelique. She wants a way out for Angelique. So I definitely think a part of her was like, if these charges are gone, if she doesn't have that over her head, it will be easier for me to persuade her and help her get out of this lifestyle. Because however much, you know, there are people who are in the criminal lifestyle through life having them no other choices. It is always the easiest choice to take that first step. And, you know, it shouldn't be the case that working as a drug dealer for the rich earns you way more money than any kind of job that is legitimate does. That is just shows you that the minimum wage is too low. A story for another time. So I'm still concerned about Angelique. I have been since she came into the show. I'm rooting for her to find her own way out of the mess she's in, or go to Ryan for help in getting out of the life she's in and choosing something better for herself. Because even if she thinks, I work for rich assholes, I give them drugs, and, you know, they are people that deserve it, even if that is something you believe in, it could cost her her life in prison. It could cost her her future. It's not worth it when that is the cost. So if she's scared that the people she works for might come after her and hurt her, then she needs to appeal to somebody for help there. So in the long run, I am rooting for them. I can understand why Angelique was so upset, but I also think she needs to understand that Ryan was doing it to help her. Yeah, Ryan lied, but if we're talking about lying in this relationship, in a couple of episodes we've seen, they both now are guilty of that. So I think what really needs to happen if they're going to have a future is they need to have a long and serious conversation about life, about the choices they're making. Ryan needs to say, well, look, I am in this criminal lifestyle because I love it. And then if that is a line in the sand for Ryan, their relationship should end. Or because I'm in this lifestyle because, yeah, I kind of enjoy it and it makes me money, and now that I'm in, I can't get out, and I'm scared about that, but I'm kind of making the best of it. Ryan would have a different attitude towards you. I think, like, they need that conversation. And obviously, if the relationship's going to go long-term far, then Ryan would need to tell us you're that woman, but we are nowhere near there yet. So yes, I am very much enjoying the drama. I'm enjoying kind of seeing what's happening, but I'm excited to kind of get to the conclusion. So then Ryan with her kryptonite, I was really hoping she was going to go back to Mary. Now obviously we knew that Mary wasn't around, but maybe she went to the clinic, should have seen something was up. But the kryptonite thing is very scary. It kind of makes me feel like we're probably going to get to Coriana at some point for her to get some of the Desert Rose flower, just because otherwise Ryan's gonna die, and I don't think they're gonna just merrily kill off Ryan at any point. I would stop watching the show if they were to introduce her, make her fall in love with her, and then murder her. The only other alternative would be it's poisoning her to death, but it's giving her superpowers. But again, Batwoman doesn't have superpowers, so unless Ryan's going to get some kind of enhanced abilities out of it, that doesn't seem to be what's happening. It does just seem to be killing her. Which gives me hope that we're going to get to Coriana and find Kate, or at least find out where Kate is, or find out that Kate has actually decided to go on a mountain retreat and has not been dead this entire time, not been kidnapped this whole time. I'm intrigued. So for Ryan to the more she learns about this, I think in this episode was the first time she fully confronted the fact that it is terminal and that it is killing her. I think up till this episode she could just, at the beginning she was like, oh, I'm totally fine, it just hurts a bit, and then it'll go away on its own, and then she was getting Mary's help and the doctor's help. I think to begin with she was very much, this is something I can deal with this, I can get through this, I'm going to prove that I'm an amazing Batwoman. I think it was very important in this episode that she finally fully verbalised to Luke that she felt like she needed to prove herself to him all the time, and that she couldn't tell him that she was struggling with this because then he would dismiss it. Now, I think we know Luke wouldn't have been horrible to her about it, especially not it being kryptonite from the first time she put the batsuit on, or second time. But, I think it was necessary for Luke to really be confronted with the fact that he hasn't been the most welcoming to her. And again, I'm not in any way hating on Luke for that, because it is his love for Kate and his grief over not knowing where she is and feeling like they're just instantly replacing Kate right after Kate replaced Bruce. He has suffered a lot as being the man in the chair for Batman and Batwoman. So I'm not hating on Luke in any way, shape or form, but I think beyond Mary hinting at it or whatever, he needed it to confront him. And that I think he will change. I love the fact that at the end he was saying, she's such a hero because she's, been suffering this whole time and been doing everything she can. She's been being an amazing Batwoman, and I'd like him to tell her that. So again with Ryan, she's now properly facing the fact that this is going to kill her slowly and painfully. Slowly is good because we can fix it. And I think things with her and Luke will be better now, in the sense that the cards are all on the table. They've been very open with each other. A huge issue is the fact that in this show, I completely understand why Luke did what he did regarding Alice, that they left her to her own devices, because right now she is a lifeline to Kate, and that potentially, if it's all over the news, Alice captured Sophia might kill Kate because she no longer needs her as leverage, etc. I can see why for Kate they would let Alice loose, but I do think they need to treat, if Ryan is part of the Bat team, if Ryan is part of their little family, she needs to have all the facts. She needs to know that they're working with Alice and do with it as she will. Mary, does Mary know? I assume she does, because Mary and Ryan can relate to the fact that Alice essentially killed their mothers and they had to watch as it happened, powerless to do anything. Yet Mary has had to confront from time to time that they needed to work with Alice. No one has ever really given, like she said in a previous episode, that she's never really been given she has had to be okay with it because tough. And I think that was even harder with Kate around, because Kate was still battling with the fact that was her sister. Pretty sure that the mother murdering is the part where I'm like, I don't think Alice can ever become a good character, like a good guy, because I don't think we could ever forgive that. So there's always been a grey area there. Mary can relate to it. Even if she keeps learning more and more about her mother, there are maybe things that she doesn't look up to and admire, but still her mother still loved her. Alice still intentionally put them in that situation. So I can understand Ryan's absolute just, how could you do that? How could you know where Alice was and not do anything about it? But the situation with Alice is a lot more complicated. But it's one of those things, it's that factor is why I'm like, in 5 seasons time, it's not going to work if Alice is still lurking around, being amazing, but coming up to people and just being a bit, mischievous and then going away, because she's a serial killer who has killed so many people that she needs to face justice at some point, or fully redeem and become Beth and shake off the Alice. I don't know. That's my concern when it comes to Alice, is that, yeah, I've talked about that a lot though. So I completely get why Ryan was so upset, and I think that's part of why Luke didn't tell her, was because he knew that she would have been furious about it, or she would have been storming over there herself, and I get that. I totally get that. They are letting Alice go, like Sophie's letting Alice go because she needs her to get to Kate, or to help with the hunt for Kate, or they want to beat her. There have been so many instances this season of characters, mainly Sophie, having Alice in their grasp and letting her go because they needed to. That'll get old after a while. But I can see why to Ryan that is like, how many more mothers is she going to go and kill? Luckily, she's a bit preoccupied at the moment. But yeah, we know Alice will kill whoever she feels like if it makes her feel a bit happy. So for Ryan, I think we're still having those teething problems with her fitting into the family. That was what I was really like, my biggest reason in wanting Kate to just be recast was the fact that I didn't want to have to go through these teething problems. I wanted to have the part where everyone loved each other and we had our bonds. But I think they've done a really brilliant job with Ryan and how they're doing it. And that she and Luke will form such a strong friendship at the end of all of this. And her reticence with Sophie, I totally get. The Crows is a very corrupt organisation. Law enforcement in general is quite corrupt. But the Crows, we've seen it firsthand time and again. And even then, Sophie coming to her with the file on Angelique. Now, maybe she genuinely had that file and was genuinely going to arrest Angelique, but that is not her priority right now. That's not what she's doing. She again came to Ryan with a lie. Now, she doesn't know Ryan's Batwoman, I get that, but it's just stress. You know, Sophie could have come to her and been like, look, woman to woman, I am trying to find a woman I love, and if you can just plant this, it'll help me. Maybe she wouldn't have done it because it wouldn't benefit Angelique, but again, there's more lies and manipulation there, and I get why Sophie's doing everything she can for Kate, but I think we do need to confront the fact that the Crows are very dodgy. It's one of my biggest red flags against Jacob, is that he created this organisation that is for the rich to protect the rich, screws over the poor. It's corrupt in so many different ways, and he does nothing about it. You know, I can connect with Jacob with his love for his daughters, even though he doesn't always act well with that, and I will get to that. But the biggest red flag with Jacob is the fact that he founded the Crows. So Ryan will survive, and she'll be the best Batwoman ever. But I'm really, she's causing me pain at the moment. And that moment where she just wanted to go home and tell the girl she loves that she was dying and everything fell apart, and so she's going to hate Sophie even more now. Sophie was like eavesdropping, so at that point she was just pure and simple eavesdropping on them. The minute she heard Ryan was there, she should have put down the headphones, not picked them up. So then also this episode, Mary and Jacob. Now Mary is my favourite character. I think last season she was equal with Kate. I think Ryan is very fast joining her in the top spot again. But Mary is my favourite character at the moment. I think potentially by the end of the season she was kind of my favourite character over Kate, but then a lot of people were hating on Kate, and whenever that happens, whenever people are like, oh, that character's boring, or I don't like them, and I think it's undeserved, my heart is like, well, now I love that character 10 times more. So Kate was my equal first / second favourite character. Mary's my favourite, and Ryan is now also a favourite character too, and I'm just kind of, I've had an extra season with Mary, so I think she's kind of that little bit higher, but Ryan is fast joining her up there on that pedestal of favourite. She just suffers all the time. So to begin with in this episode, I sort of forgot that Mary's blood is now no longer useful as that was a thing. It kind of had to happen in a way, because otherwise, if Mary was just a constant source of a cure, it would A, have everyone in the world after her, B, it would just be anytime anyone was remotely ill, it would be like, here you go, we're better now. But for Mary to go through yet another traumatic situation, to be faced with the prospect of losing potentially her last family member, yeah, I know she has some hope that Kate's out there. She has committed to the fact that if there is even a chance Kate's out there, she's gonna now try and find her. But Mary has really been the one that has lost so much in her life that she's like, my last family member is this man. And, you know, just now as when maybe like we're gonna form a relationship, I'm gonna lose him too. Just the thought of that she'd have to sit there and watch as a parent died and she couldn't do anything. No wonder she told them about Coriana. Mary being in stressful situations I hate. So I think like at the beginning of this episode, for like the first half, including when they were kidnapped, I was like, Mary and Jacob are making such strides. And then by the end, so I thought I like that he brought Mary along to the lawyer's interview about declaring Kate dead or whatever, that he included Mary, that he was like, you are an important part of this family, an important part of Kate's family, you should be there too. I think that was a really important step from Jacob, and it shouldn't take him losing all his daughters for him to be like, the other one, yes. Because when you marry someone and they have especially a very young child, you are taking on a parental role. Mary makes no mention of her biological father. I do not know if he's dead or if he just left at some point. She doesn't have another father in her life. You are taking that responsibility, and we've seen him care about Mary throughout the show, but definitely you've known that Mary has always felt secondary to the ghost of Beth. And yes, so I like that they kind of talked about that. I like that he was like, how didn't I know about this clinic? Well, A, she was keeping it secret, and B, because she doesn't trust you with it, because she knew what you would do if you shut it down. And I mean, exactly, I can so I was enjoying kind of the moments where they connected and she was honest with him about how she feels about how he feels about her, and I was thinking we were going to make strides forward. Now, Jacob, I can understand why he would want to shut the clinic down. I can understand it from a purely protecting Mary from potential future legal ramifications, because if this clinic gets found out, especially if something bad happens to someone under her care there, she isn't a doctor, it would just destroy her life. So I can understand that. Though she is very rich, they could probably smooth it over with money, let's face it, the way the world works. But at the same time, I think it was like he immediately found out about it, then immediately wants to shut it down. I think he needed to have a conversation with her about it, to talk about, I mean, she's fully aware of what the potential repercussions are, but to really talk about it with her, to then say, well, think about what we've just learned about your mother and how, you know, that is your first line you're willing to cross, how far would you go? Now, I don't think that is fair. I think having a clinic to help people who cannot afford healthcare in America is very, very different to doing experiments on people potentially against, illegal experiments on people potentially against their will or whatever, I don't know. The way that guy was talking about it, it didn't seem like he'd signed the consent form knowing what was happening. Hamilton still seems to be doing that, because the old man who died was like, when they were like, it cured his cancer, he was like, it did? He had no clue what was happening. So, I mean, Hamilton is very, very strange. He needs, like, severe investigating. But I think you need to talk to Mary, because in a way, taking that decision fully out of her hands, telling her we're closing it down, is basically like you're saying, I don't trust you. I don't trust that you're capable of this. I don't trust that you're going to have the right intentions. Now, I think he did it to protect Mary. I don't think he did it because he's just a dick. But that has been his flaw throughout. He wouldn't let Kate join the Crows to protect her. He disregarded her interest, what her feelings were. He disregarded her abilities. He didn't make her feel like he believed she could do it. And all those things, that has been his greatest flaw as a parent, is this crazy overprotection that comes from his love that I can connect to, but comes out in such a terrible way, and every single time it happens. You know, he's just found out that his daughter was Batwoman, and that he made her feel like hell about being Batwoman the entire time. And he decides to try and just stomp on Mary too, instead of talking to her. And even if at the end of the conversation he still says, well, no, you know what, look, I'm still closing down the clinic. It's wrong. It's the right thing to do. It's going to risk your life. It's not good. He needed to have a better attitude around it, because he's just an infuriating Jacob, you know, beyond his Crows part. That is the part of him that I cannot get behind. Now, his love for his daughters will get me every time, but he is not a good person in so many other ways. And I hate the fact that Mary had literally just been saying to Luke that, well, we have something different this time. We have my dad. He can help us. She wanted to lean on him and trust him, and maybe she was going to even go there and properly give him information and try and work with him, and then the first thing he does is go, your clinic's gone now, bye. He needs to have more of, like, communicate with your daughters. They are people with emotions and feelings, and you can think, and you know, even if you say to her, because what she has done in that clinic is amazing. She has saved lives. She has been a lifeline for people. So what he should have said, even if he still wanted to shut it down, was, I am proud of you. The impulse was good. I get it. You are an inspiring young woman, but wait a couple years, and then when you are a registered, qualified doctor, you can use your fortune to open up a free clinic. You know, that's really what he should have said if he did want to close it down, rather than, I'm closing it down, it's wrong. Like, Jacob, it's just, he's a frustrating man. And so for Mary to kind of really feel like she was getting this bond with him even more so than she'd had, and that maybe she could rely on him, to just have him stomp on her dreams is not great. And especially on top of finding out yet more information about her mother, and especially when he was like, your mother was doing experiments. When Mary had been like, do you think that was my mum? And then he's like, yes, it was your mum. Yet again, another kind of, Mary just deserves the world, and I hate how much she suffers all of the time. But I am loving this show so much. Season 2 is fantastic. I loved season 1. I loved Kate, but I'm so glad that I'm also loving Ryan and loving season 2, and I'm so excited to see where it's going to go next. So a reminder that you can find the unedited version on my Patreon, and like I said at the beginning, the first of the month is the best, like the first of the month or the first couple of weeks of the month, probably the best time to sign up, because you get charged, like I said, on the first of the month, and then you get charged the day you sign up. So yes, thank you so much for watching.